Okay, hello everybody. Today we're here at Whiskey Bravo Whiskey, Wilkes-Barre, Wyoming Valley in the Cessna 152. We have a 52 nautical mile flight departing from Whiskey Bravo Whiskey and arriving back at the same field. We'll be doing a tour of some of the sites and airports of Wyoming Valley. And at the end of the flight, I will stay fully in first person in the cockpit so you can see the approach and how I manage transitioning from the trip back to the pattern. It should be an awesome flight, so let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. Today we're running with the Cessna 565 Whiskey livery that's based on a real-world livery, and one of my viewers caretakes the actual real-world plane and let me know that the real-world version has the fairings or the wheel pants on, so I've enabled them back for this flight so we can be true to the real plane. So we got our parking brake is set, all of our switches are off, our circuit breakers are all in, carb heat's in, throttle is to idle, mixture is to idle cutoff, and our trim wheel is set to take off. We'll just adjust those there, make sure they're synced with my joystick so we don't have any drama on takeoff like last time. Alright, we'll get our fuel selector valve here on the floor, rotate that to on. We'll turn the battery and master on, check fuel tank left, right, we've got full fuel, we've got the beacon turned on. We'll check that the prop area is clear, call clear prop. Looks good. Beat around the brakes, mixture into rich, crack the throttle. Prime it 1, 2, 3 strokes of the primer. Keys are in the ignition. And we'll crank it over to start. We got oil pressure immediately coming up and into the green. RPMs are around 1,000. We'll bring those down just a little bit. And now we'll lean the mixture for ground operations. There we go, looks good. Get our taxi light on. And transponder should be in standby, missed that. Head over here and we'll close the window.
Feed. Temperature 23. Dew point 21.
Not running with live weather today because
Altimeter
in
29 or
real life there's severe
Arriving and
thunderstorms, so we've got a
departing
preset for today. We'll
10.
adjust at the field elevation. Wyoming Valley traffic says Cessna 565 Whiskey, taxi from the ramp to runway 927, hold short, Wyoming Valley. We'll release the parking brake. As we start to go forward, I will test my brakes. Brakes work. Always want to test those before you start getting any sort of momentum. And as we turn around to the left here, we're going to verify that the things that should be turning are turning. So we're going to look at the directional gyro that's turning, the attitude indicator is not turning, the turn and slip is turning, and the magnetic compass is turning. That looks good. So we're taxiing here on the grass strip. This is 927. We use the end of this, which is paved as a run-up area when we're taking off from 25. And notice this bare patch here, that exists in real life, which is very cool because probably 50 plus years ago there was an intersecting runway here at Wyoming Valley. Alright, we're at the run-up area, so we've got the parking brake is on, mixture into full rich, elevator up, elevator down, rudder left, rudder right, right aileron down, left aileron down. That all looks good. Now we'll do our run-up. We're going to bring the RPMs up to 1700 and do our mag check. We got our mag left and a good drop. Back to both. Mag right and back to both. Car beats out. Got a drop. Car beat back in. Wyoming Valley traffic. Cessna 565 Whiskey, back taxi, runway 25 for departure, Wyoming Valley. As we back taxi, we'll open up for flight and take you through the flight brief. So we're departing from Whiskey Bravo Whiskey, which is a non-towered field that's just a few miles from the class Delta of AVP, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. We're going to head east and fly over their airspace to Scranton. When we reach Route 11, we're going to follow it to the northwest to Seamans Field, 9 November 3. From Seamans Field, we're going to pick up Route 6 and follow it to the west to 76 November Skyhaven. That's near a mountain that has a wind farm on it, which should be very scenic. We're going to fly past the wind turbines heading for Harveys Lake. And then from Harveys Lake, we're going to fly over Dallas, head to Wilkes-Barre first, and then from Wilkes-Barre, we'll switch into first-person mode, and you'll see how I get from there into the pattern. So, while I was talking, we already made our CTAF call announcing our departure departing from 2.5, coming up on rotate speed. And rotate. There we go. Now what was a little weird is I had to put in left rudder when I was on the ground here in the sim, which you would not have to do in real life. It would be right rudder. And you could see that I dipped to the left when we took off because of the left rudder, so I had to transition back to right. So now I'll adjust the trim wheel to take some of the back pressure off of my hands here for the flight controls so we can climb at 70 knots. Say Intentions has a tour tuner feature that lets you make custom tours, so I made one for Wyoming Valley, which will start shortly.
At our 11 o'clock, about 3 miles out, you'll see the Luzerne County Historical Society. This building was established in 1858 and is a treasure trove of local history. It houses an extensive collection of artifacts and documents that tell the story of the area, from its early settlers to the industrial boom. The Society is particularly known for its impressive collection of photographs and manuscripts that capture the essence of life in Luzerne County over the decades. History buffs and curious minds alike flock here to dive into the past. Plus, rumor has it that the building itself is haunted by the ghost of a former curator who just can't seem to leave. So, if you hear any strange noises, it might just be him checking in.
Alright, we're already above pattern altitude, so we're going to just keep on climbing as we enter the downwind here. Wyoming Valley traffic says Cessna 565 Whiskey left downwind, runway 25, departing the pattern to the east from the downwind, Wyoming Valley. Now if we don't want to go through AVP's airspace but over it, we could keep circling around the pattern until we get to 3,500, or we could just call Wilkes-Barre approach now and request a class Delta transition, since we're going to talk to approach anyway to pick up flight following.
At 4,600 feet.
Wilkes-Barre approach says Cessna 565 Whiskey just off Wyoming Valley at 2,400, VFR request.
Mike Charlie, Wilkes-Barre approach, roger. Carbondale altimeter 3024.
Cessna 565 Whiskey, Wilkes-Barre approach, expect visual approach, runway 10, climb approved.
I've trimmed out the debate that I had with the AI about not wanting a visual approach for sanity's sake, and shortly after this, the tour guide also stopped working for this flight. So you'll hear one more announcement from her for Scranton, and then we'll just switch over to a montage.
At our 12 o'clock, about 3 miles out, you'll see Field. This is the home of the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, the AAA affiliate of the New York Yankees. The stadium opened in 1989 and has a seating capacity of around 10,000. It's a great spot for catching a baseball game during the summer months, and the atmosphere is always lively with fans cheering on their team. Fun fact, the field was named after financial services, which has been a significant player in the region's economy. So, if you're a baseball fan, this is definitely a place to check out when we land. Just watch out for flying hot dogs. They have a way of getting airborne during the 7th inning stretch.
Spirit wings 2542, turn right heading 065.
Alright, we've switched over to first-person view for the rest of the flight. Some of my viewers have asked to see more of what I do on the approach to see how I get to the field and enter the pattern. So that's what we're going to do. This is actually the standard procedure that we use at my flight school when runway 25 is in use. So I'm overflying Wilkes-Barre, the city of Wilkes-Barre. Off to my left is the Pierce Street Bridge, and I'm just over the Market Street Bridge. So we'll start off with a CTAF call. Wyoming Valley traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey, just over the Market Street Bridge at 1,900 inbound for left downwind runway 25, Wyoming Valley. So we're going to turn here and overfly Wilkes-Barre. We've got 3 bridges. The Market Street Bridge behind us, the Pierce Street Bridge that we just passed, and up ahead is the Cross Valley. That's that bridge that you can see just crossing the bend there. The field is right around the S-shaped turn in the Susquehanna River on the left-hand side. From our point of view, that's the north side of the river. Pattern altitude is 1,500. And legally, we're over a city, so we need to be at least 1,000 feet above the tallest structure that we're overflying. Alright, we're just about to overfly the Cross Valley, so let's make our CTAF announcement. Wyoming Valley traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey, just over the Cross Valley at 1,700 inbound for left downwind runway 25, Wyoming Valley. Alright, we're set up for a nice downwind here. I've got the field in sight. It might be a little bit hard for you to see there, but it's at the 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock position off the nose. So we're going to start turning here. We are arriving just at traffic pattern altitude. Our speed looks good. We're going to fly parallel to the runway. You can see it right there. We're going to try to get it so that it's about halfway up the strut. That'll give us half a mile spacing from the runway. There we go. We're right at 1,500 as we roll out on to the downwind. We'll adjust our power to maintain that altitude. I fly Cessna Skyhawk, so there's a certain power setting in our Skyhawks that gives you exactly the speed you want with a level altitude. In the downwind, it's about 2,000 RPM. In the Skyhawk, so you just fly 2,000 RPM on the downwind. It's different here for the C152, so I'm just flying whatever gets me my number, and in fact I'm descending a little bit because I don't have the power setting dialed in. So now we're going to wait until we are abeam our touchdown point, whatever we choose. That's where we pull back the power and put in the first notch of flaps. And we don't pull the power all the way out. It's whatever setting gives us our 500 feet per minute descent rate. I'm going to turn base here when we're on the 45 from the end of the runway, which we are, and this is the 8th Street Bridge, which just happens to be right at about the 45 from the runway location. Wyoming Valley traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey, left base runway 25, full stop Wyoming Valley. Alright, our goal was to lose about 200 feet of altitude from the time we put in flaps to the time we turn base, and then lose another 300 feet on the base leg. Remember, traffic pattern altitude is usually 1,000 feet above ground, so we drop 500 feet by the time we roll out from base on to final. So that puts us 500 feet above ground. I'm actually a little bit low here by about 100 feet, and I can visually see it without even looking at the altimeter. It's kind of cool that the sim very accurately replicates what you see in the real plane, and in the real plane you could fly the approach really without the altimeter because visually you just get used to what the glide slope looks like. Wyoming Valley traffic says the 565 Whiskey, final runway 25, full stop Wyoming Valley. Alright, now it's about managing our airspeed and our descent rate. This is looking pretty good. Just a tad fast for the 152. Which means we're going to go a little bit long. Got the power pulled out. We're going to round out, hold it level here in ground effect, and let it settle on its own. And that settled actually pretty quickly. I didn't have a lot of time to do a flare there. Alright, we got the windsock showing that the wind is still for 2.5, so that's good. We didn't land with a tailwind. We'll turn off here. Once we cross the hold short lines, we'll stop, clean up the plane, and announce that we're taxiing back to the ramp. And I think we're going to taxi right over here to the fuel pumps. Not that we burned very much fuel on this short trip. Alright, we'll get to shut down and do the debrief. So that was a lot of fun. I was using the Google Maps plugin, which gives you Google satellite images, which really helps out with this area because the Bing maps are not very good. Say Intentions tour guide didn't quite work the way I wanted it to, but we still had a very cool scenic flight. I saw they just released a patch for Say Intentions that fixed some of the tour guide issues, so hopefully that's all resolved now. So hopefully you enjoy realistic general aviation content like this. If you do, be sure to click that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, as always, for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.